why your organization may be failing at engagement. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So a lot of organizations are trying to drive their engagement up, which is great. You want to have that. You want to have employees that are fully engaged and moving forward for the organization. Because when you have engaged people, speed goes up, costs go down, more profits. And so most organizations are focusing on how to do that, and they're just trying everything they can to do so. Whether it's having certain groups set up, bringing in a speaker like me, or training the leadership team like I do. There's a lot of things you can do, but today I want to focus on a few areas of why we are probably failing at growing the engagement in our organization. Now, first, I want to talk about where engagement stands today. And Gallup is one of those people who does surveys on just about everything. I mean, they are the gurus when it comes to doing a survey about something. They've been watching engagement for organizations since early 2000s, and they get a study out there, and it basically hovers around 30%. Yeah, that's right. 30% is where engagement basically is in different organizations. And yes, it can go up a little bit or down throughout the years, and maybe in different kind of environments, different kind of sectors, it might be a little bit higher, but by and large, 30%. Now, I'm a little bit removed from my elementary math, but I do remember 30% was a failing grade. And so now that we know where engagement is, let's talk about some of those reasons why it is there. So a lot of HR teams are trying to get highly enthusiastic people into their organizations, and they're just trying to onboard people and stick them in their positions, and hopefully they're going to work out. That's a problem, because if we're just hurrying up to try to take a cog and stick it into the machine to keep it running, that's not the way we need to be thinking about these employees. We need to actually take our time when we do the hiring process. Yeah, that's right. We need to be asking really good questions and not basing our decision after a 1 or 2 hour meeting with somebody, because somebody can really shine in the first meeting, but over time you'll find out how really engaged they are to the culture and how they align. Because if we're just putting somebody in place, chances are they're going to quit when they find another opportunity. So we need to take our time and hire the right people. Now, that's basically going to land on the HR team and the manager probably hiring the person. And I got to tell you right now, most HR questions and those managers really don't focus in on hiring the right person. I've sat in some of those meetings in my corporate days, and I gotta tell you, it was not a recipe for success. And we need to do a better job at doing that. So just going off of standard questions and hiring somebody after maybe 1 or 2 interviews, not the way it's gonna go. We need to take our hiring process and expand it a little bit so it does filter out some of the people. And I know we're in a rush to get people on board and everything, but if we don't do the right people, we're not going to take this organization and ramp up. We're going to constantly be at the starting line. Another area is we focus in on our pay, and we focus in on vacations or a job title. We focus in on those kind of levers to entice people. Maybe it's a better 401k match. Those are not influence. Those are not levers that are going to keep people long term. Yeah, short term, people are going to see the dollar signs and say this is a great idea. But if they don't align in the culture, it's not going to be a long term situation. Those levers that people often use to entice people are actually leverage. Yeah, leverage. And leverage by definition is basically putting friction on something so it doesn't move. Once the leverage is gone, so are the people. And so we need to do a better job at aligning people with our culture and fixing our culture and how we think, and not just entice people with that, because that's one of the reasons we have high turnover and lower engagement levels, is because we're using those levers, which are only a leverage point, not influence. And that third thing is we really need to be building influence. And I've got tons of videos on building influence and my trainings and whatnot. But here's 3 questions that are going to help you start building influence. Do I like you? Do I trust you? And how can you help me? Unfortunately, most people, when they're in the hiring position and hiring people, they're asking those questions of those individuals. Fortunately, in a leadership role, we need to make sure that we're answering those questions to those that report to us and those that are looking to be hired. It's a two-way street that we need to work if we want to keep people engaged and have a culture that is empowering and making sure that people are going to stay long term. We need to grow our influence. So those 3 questions will help us. And the other 2 items that I've already talked about in this video will help you, direct you to start growing your engagement. All right? So if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Contact information is below. If the video was helpful, hit like, share, subscribe, send to somebody you think it might benefit. That's why I do these videos, to help you. We'll see you next time.